Tech and Management. Please, before we proceed, in any of the platform you belong to, any of our platform that you belong to, you joined from, you got the link for this section. Please go right there, drop in the group that we are live. Let everyone come straight to join us, that we are live. Testimony, good to have you. I can see you. Yeah, Virginia, good to have you. Good to have you guys. I can see you. You are welcome. Let everyone know, in different platform you belong to, in different platform, any of our platforms you are joining from, you got the link for this section this morning. Kindly help me. Go right there on that platform, drop in the group, in that WhatsApp group, drop there, let everyone there know that we are live. Help me go there and drop it in the group and let everyone there know we are live. I'm going to be giving like a minute or two. The essence is to how to craft out a winning CV. Your CV is as important as you. Your CV is as important as you. Your marketing is as important as the product. I think we understand what I'm saying. Your CV is as important as you, as well as your marketing is as important as your product. So your CV is the powerful tool in selling and marketing yourself in the job market. And we don't take it for granted. This is where many job seekers have issues. Sometimes I have sent out hundreds of CVs to companies, tens of CVs, and yet I haven't received an interview call. A CV is supposed to get you a job interview call. A CV is not meant to give you the job. A CV is meant to give you the opportunity to come before employers, to come before recruiters, to earn you that job interview call. All right, I want to believe that we have all dropped a message on the group. I want to believe that we have all dropped a message in the group, and having done that, I need us to confirm once again this morning your name and where you are joining us from. If you are here with me, your name and where you are joining us from this morning. Please drop that in the comment section, in the chat section. Your name and where you are joining us from this morning. We are going to be having a very awesome ride this morning. After this morning, you are going to be writing your CV yourself. You are going to be able to prepare your professional CV and use it for your job search. No longer paying professionals like us to write your CV. The point there is, or the drawback in that is that most of us compel ourselves to use that one particular CV the person wrote in applying for different jobs. Most persons don't understand how to edit it. Most persons don't understand how to restructure it for a particular job they are applying for. But after this morning, you will be able to write your CV yourself. And when you are applying, you should be able to know how to restructure. And that is the essence of this, so as to bring you to employers as many as possible. Then that you can have the power to make choice and say, okay, I want to accept this job, or I want to accept the other job. That is the essence this morning. Now let's quickly dive in. Once again, welcome to Professional CV Masterclass. How to write a winning CV. That is the focus of the section this morning. Hence, is powered by Solomon Institute of Tech and Management. I'm the facilitator. I'm going to be taking us through this section, Mr. Franklin. Now, a bit about the person facilitating. I'm a seasoned data analyst. I'm a seasoned data analyst and management consultant. For those that are coming in contact with me for the first time, I'm a seasoned data analyst and management consultant. I also have diverse portfolios, as you can see in your screen. My passion is to teach, act, and inspire others. That has always been my passion. That's what makes it very easy for me to every now and then teach without breaking down, every now and then to be on top of the game by the grace of God. All right, I'm a Christian, and as well, I'm married to the most beautiful woman on earth. There are three things I cherish. I cherish faith, I cherish family, and personal growth. I don't joke with growth. I'm a preacher of growth. I don't joke with personal growth, and that is one of the reasons where we launch out the Solomon Career Growth Community. All right, now without much stuff, let's look at what we have. This is the three essence where we are going to be focusing this section this morning. Where we are going to be focusing this section this morning. Good to have testimony, Ocean State. Good to have you. If you are just joining us, let me know where you are joining us from. Your name and your location where you are joining us from. That will help us to be able to know where our students are joining from. Okay, we are going to be doing justice to this section in this three dimension. Please get this. This is going to be a practical class. However, I need to lay some emphasis. I need to lay some teachings. I need to give us some understanding as regards to CV writing. And then we move straight to Microsoft Word. Now begin to prepare a CV from scratch. I'm going to be using one of us CV in order to guide us through to the scratch. And I want to say this, the process is the same, whether you're a beginner or a recent graduate, or you are an experienced professional, you have 20 years experience in the industry, you have 15 years experience, 10 years, 30 years, as the case may be. It is the same process, and is also the same process or kind of similar process to different professions. If the rule comes across different professions is how you are going to maximize the knowledge to suit your profession, to suit the job you are applying for, and to suit the industry you are going into. That is one of the things we are going to be getting this morning. All right, now the first we are going to be looking at is winning CV structure. How is a winning CV structure? How can you structure a winning CV? If you are to write a CV, how do you structure it? A structure of a CV is important. Very, very, very important. Good to have you, Omoniyi. Good to have you from Lagos. The structure of a CV is highly important. Why? Because your CV, like we have the section number 2, tips for ATS-friendly CV. Currently now, some organizations screen CVs via ATS, via a software ATS, and it will continue because of the emergence of AI. It will continue. Most companies doesn't want to be revealing CV by themselves. However, they develop a software, a system to prompt it to screen CVs. So how do you structure a winning CV that will make it very friendly, very easy for the ATS? That is what we are looking at this morning. Adiola, good to have you from Osun State. Good to have you. Right. Now, having said that, let's quickly dive in. The winning CV structure. Let's dive into the things that we need, how to structure a winning CV. The first of every winning CV is the title. The first of every winning CV is the title. That is what we are going to be looking at now. The title is the first aspect, the first structure is fundamental, is the title. However, there are errors that cost many job seekers the job, and most of these errors begins from the title. Now, why is the title very important? The title of a CV, the title of a book, the title of the brand, the stuff like that is what resonates with bias, how you package your title. When a recruiter opens your CV and goes through the title, what are the things that we need to understand? The first is your full name. Your full name. Not I saw a CV, someone just sent me a CV. A CV just put there. I've forgotten the name. Let's say my name is Nwankwo Franklin C. The person now put there Mr. Franklin C.N. Let's say I'm the one. The person now put Mr. Franklin C.N. No, that is not supposed to be. That is not supposed to be. The employer is like, you are sending a signal also to the employer. Are you trying to hide certain things? Are you trying to hide your full name? What are we using your full name to do? Oga, we need your full name. So you might be sending a negative impression. That might not be the cause, but because of that negligence, you might be sending a negative impression to the recruiter. Even to the ATS, you might be sending a negative. The ATS will be struggling to read, what is this? Is this a sentence? Is it an abbreviation or stuff like that? Might not know this is a name. So in that regard, when you are writing your CV, please don't use abbreviation on your name or the initial on your name. Not maybe Mr. is not necessary. Doctor is not necessary. Those unless you have I remember I wrote CVs for some professionals recently, early this year. After the name, I now put in bracket their initials, the associate of so profession, and that is how we can look at it. After, I will show us some samples either in the group or in this course. I wouldn't want this section to be too long. So the full name, like I said, it has to be, if I'm the one, I'm going to be saying Franklin Chinedu Nwankwo, Franklin Chinedu Nwankwo, or Chinedu Franklin Nwankwo. Any of the structure you want to use. So don't put initial, maybe Franklin C.N. No, it's really not what we are. It's really not acceptable. As is that, you are welcome, good to have you. So the first thing you have to do is full name, and your full name has to be bold, and it's your name that has the license to be the highest font size. In the font size of your CV, only your name can have a larger font size. I recommend anything between 18 to 22. I recommend anything between 18 to 22 as regards to font size, and I believe that is well taken. Then the next is location. Very important. This is another area that is highly important, because especially the job of the 21st century now is becoming sensitive to location. You will see organizations, recruiter giving much preference to those that reside within the location, within the city, within the state, if is something within the country. If you are applying for a job in UK and you stay in UK, it is easier for you than staying in Nigeria and applying over there. It will be easier, unless it's a remote job that your location doesn't matter. If it's a remote job, then that's not a challenge. But if physical job where you go to office, location is very important. And please, when you are sending your CV, endeavor to choose the location within that a job. If the job says location Lagos, if the job says location Ife, our institute is recruiting recently now for a job location in Ife. So if the job say Ife, Osun, Port Harcourt, Owerri, Kaduna, Kano, wherever the location is, I will encourage us to look for a friend, a relative, someone we know. Ask the person, tell the person, please, I'm applying for so job. I will like to use your address as my address on my CV. Please, that is very important. Choose the location within the job you are applying for. Very, very important. Then the next is your phone number. This is what we call your digital contact. Your digital contact. The location here is your physical contact. Your physical contact address, that is your location. Then your phone number, and let me take it to the next one, and your email address, and if you have it, your LinkedIn account. And I don't expect any professional here, any job seeker here who is serious in carving out a career in his or her choosing profession not to have a LinkedIn account. I don't expect it, but it might be. There might be some of us here. If you don't have, go and open one and optimize it. Optimize your LinkedIn account, put up things show that you have something to offer within your choosing profession, within your choosing career and the industry. These are what we refer to as your digital contact, your phone number. And if you have up to 4 different numbers, 5 numbers, 3 numbers, please, if at all, put maximum of 2 different networks, maybe MTN and Glo. MTN, Airtel, Glo, Airtel, maximum 2. Don't go and put this one, no. And choose email address that is professional. That is very, very, not let's say Frankie the Don at gmail.com. No. Choose professional email address. What is professional email address? You use your name, a combination of your first name and last name. If someone have used it, you can go ahead and add a number, a digit to it. That's a professional email. And then you put a link to your LinkedIn account. Now, what do we have here? Portfolio. Now, if you are like data analyst, you have work you have done, a software developer, you have your work, you have your portfolio where you have done series of projects. A graphic designer, a web developer, a UI UX personnel, data scientist, you have portfolios, some projects you have worked on, and the link to access those projects, you have them, then you can drop the link as well. So this is what the title of your CV comprises of. First is your name, the second line is your location, then the third line is your digital contact. That is your title. Then after the title, we move to the next aspect, a very, very important aspect in CV writing. And what is this aspect important is what we refer to as professional summary. Professional summary is a copy. It's a short, summarized, concise statement about you. I encourage you to ditch career objective. Some still use it, but currently recruiters want to know whom they are employing, whom they are recruiting, the achievement you have had, the skills you have, the qualifications, the personality you have. So your professional summary is a short, concise statement that impresses your recruiter. Let me put it that way. Your professional summary is a short, concise statement that impresses the recruiter to give you job interview call. That what they are going to see in the CV, you have summarized it in your professional summary. You have just summarized it. Other things there is just to elaborate. Your professional summary have summarized your professional work, your achievement, your core skills, your relevant skills that relates to the job, the relevant attributes, the relevant experiences that relates to the job you are applying for. That is in the professional summary. So what I know when drafting professional summary, please see sentences, first line, second line, 4 line, for maximum, I encourage that, maximum 6 lines. Maximum 6 lines, worst case scenario 7. Highlighting your key skills, your career work, achievements, your personality, Those should summarize that. That's what that is. Then the next one is in writing your professional summary, like I said, the experiences, the skills, the achievements that is related to the job. So you tailor this to the specific role, what you are applying for. Tailor it to the role, to the industry, to the company, to the job you are applying for. Understand what the company culture is. I'm not teaching interview questions on it. I'm not teaching interview questions now, and in the last section we had on interview communication, so much on that. If you missed that section, is there on the channel. Go ahead and search out on the channel interview communication. You will get to how to communicate effectively in interviews. You will get to how to communicate effectively in interviews. You will get to see that section, what you are going to be researching for. However, when you finish your research, tailor your professional summary to that specific role, to the need of the company, industry, and the job you are applying for. In other words, it shows what you are bringing to the table. So when you go for when you are applying for a job, the main essence is for them to see you as a problem solver. Let what the interviewer is seeing you for, or let the CV be that depicts you, that sells you as one who is a problem solver, as one who can help them maximize profit. The number one problem every organization has, every organization has is profit maximization. No institution on earth that doesn't want to maximize profit. So when you can show them articulately how you can help maximize profit, you are an asset. So if you are joining us, please let me know your name in the chat box and where you are joining us from. Very much important. Thank you. Now, having established that, the next is to include core keywords. Core keywords intends that you must have studied the job advert. You must have read in the job advert, the job description, the job specification, the need of the company, what they are looking for. Then in your professional summary, naturally insert them. Naturally insert those keywords. Let's say the company say we are looking for a young, vibrant this. Then in your professional summary, you are a fresh graduate seeking for, you can say, if company is saying we are looking for a top experienced professional in this, those words like experience are keywords. They are keywords, and they list, okay, they need somebody that is this, good communication skill, this. Study, know those highlights, those keywords the company puts in their job descriptions, in the specification, and naturally, what I mean by naturally, insert it, let it be, it flows seamlessly in the sentence. Not that you just find somewhere and put the keyword, let it be that the keyword is in the professional summary. No, let it flow naturally. Let it flow naturally. So when ATS reads it, naturally it sinks in. And that is the aspect of professional summary. Now, after the professional summary, all right, Oluche, good to have you. Ogun State, Mohammed, good to have you. Lagos, beautiful, good to have us. Now, after that, in the professional summary, the next is your education qualification. Now, I need to state something here. Please, let's pay attention and get this. I need to state something here. Abdul Karim, you are welcome from Oshobo. Good to have you. Now, let me state something here. Your education, work experience, please, if you are an experienced professional, you have 5 years experience. From 5 years experience upward, 10 years, 20 years. After your professional summary, your work experience comes, because your work experience is your greatest asset as a top professional, as an experienced professional. your work experience. I'm showing us the structure of a winning CV, stage by stage, from title to professional summary to the next. For fresh graduate, you just finish school, you just finish service, you are currently serving, or you just finished service last year, pressure in the job market, your work, your educational qualification, together with your professional certifications, different certifications you have, other certifications are your assets. But for top professionals, you have, you a consultant, you are a personnel, you have 20 years experience comes first. I'm explaining something deep now. Let your work history, your work experiences come first. But for fresh graduates, because you are a fresh graduate, there is little or no work experience. You have little, let me not say no work experience, because if you have served, if you did your IT, your internship, those can be work experience as well. However, you have little work experience, so your education qualification can come first. For those of us working class who has 5 years experience upward, your work experience can come first. That is very, very vital. Now, how do you structure your education qualification? Please, I have seen a lot of CVs. People begin to say institution attended with date. After institution attended with date, you will now see a qualification obtained with date. I need to state this. It is only academic CV that can demand for that structure. You are applying for a lecturing job in a university. There's some university, different university have their structure on how you send forward your CV should be prepared. And the CVs, academic CVs I have prepared for different lecturing job and maybe promotions, what is there is that you can now put institution attended with date, and later you put qualification obtained with date. So that is only obtainable for lecturing job in the universities. Most universities have their different CV structure. But apart from that, the standard structure is, you talk about what you read, your course, mathematics and computer science. Then university, Federal University of Technology, the year of graduation. Not the year you entered school to the year you graduated. No, not you now come, some will now come and say 1999 or 2018 to 2022, thereabout. No, the year you graduated. If you graduated 2024 last year, you put it. If you graduated 1999, you put 1999. If you graduated 1970, you put 1970. So you don't put the year you entered school and the year you finish. No, that year you graduate, your graduation year. That is very, very vital. And then in work experience, after education qualification, work experience, you start from the most recent. You start from the most recent. Now, what do we mean by most recent? Is the recent one. If you are working currently, that's your recent experience. So you start from most recent, then go down. That is in what we call the reverse chronology. The reverse chronology. That's also the same way in education qualification, your degree. If you have master's degree, you start from master's degree. If you have MBA, you start from MBA. If you have PhD, you start from your PhD and that and come down. The same way in reverse chronology. And then if you went through polytechnics, you start from your HND, if that's your highest degree, HND, then your ND. I don't even encourage putting SSCE certificate on CVs. I don't even encourage it again, because it doesn't hold any water now in the job market. All right, now in your work experience, how do you put it this way? Job title with the position, the company name, the location where the company is, and the date. Here in this date, you will state the date, the month and the day you enter the company, the month and the date the month and the year you enter the company, and the month and the year you finish or you left the company if you are no longer with them. But if you are still with them, you now put the month and the year you enter and then hyphen till date. Till date. That's how you do that. Then the next is key skills. Now, you include both technical and soft skills based on job description. Now, I need to state this. You might have not had this being taught anywhere, but I'm teaching you this because there are some diverse interrelationship in the job market, in the industry and companies. Now, any skill you have, listen to me and listen very well. Any skill you have and you can defend, whether you feel is relevant or not, let it reflect on your CV. Any skill you have, quote me anywhere that you can defend, whether you think is relevant or not, let it appear on your CV. It must appear on your CV, whether relevant or not, must appear on your CV. I know why I'm using the word must, because in the job market, especially in the terrain, in African terrain, where you need to be multi-skilled, you can handle the need persons that can handle different. In your CV, for example, you are applying as a marketer, you are applying as a marketing officer or as a marketing executive, and you can act. You think that acting doesn't have anything to do with marketing. It does. Or you can sew. You have fashion skill, and that fashion skill, are you going to sell fashion or so? But you can supervise a project where the company might be doing some marketing campaign and they want to go for a material. You can use your fashion skill and recommend colors and recommend different design. They know that there are different to all, and the companies like contract their catering services out, but they might need someone within the system that can supervise the catering company to ensure that they are giving the company quality meal at what is being agreed. These are different stuff. So when you any skill you have and you can defend, I encourage you, let it reflect on your CV. So for fresh graduates, after education and your certifications like HR, project management, data analysis certification, cyber security certification, different certifications in tech and stuff like that, then you go ahead to put your skills for fresh graduates. But for experienced guys, your education should come last. Your education should come last. After your work experience comes your skills, then your education qualifications should come last. However, if in the job they say they are looking for someone, we are looking for someone who is a master's degree holder, who has master's degree. You experienced guy, but they are looking for a master's degree holder and you have it. Please let the education come first, then your work experience and your skill. The thing is that there is no one rule to CV writing. Is you understanding the employer need and how you can position your strength to match the employer need. There is no one rule fit it all in drafting CV. That's why I'm explaining these things in details. That's why I'm taking time to explain it. You study the employer's need, and the employer says they are looking for one with a master's degree in so, and you have master's degree in that. That's a plus. That's an advantage. Some persons that are applying might not have it. So you position your strength first. That's what I can summarize it with. After your professional position your area of strength first. Study yourself, check what you have. What is my area of strength? Is it my work experience that is first, or my education, qualification and certifications I have? Then move down to skills. Every skill you have, there is both hard skill and soft skill. That should reflect. Don't put only hard skill. Blend it. Let it be a blend of both hard skill or technical skill and soft skill. Very, very important, based on job description. Then this is where we are talking about certifications and training. Why I brought it last is because it's optional. Some fresh graduates, some of us don't have any certifications now, and I must encourage you, if you're a fresh graduate on this call, on this session, is something I must encourage you. Go out and get trained. But don't focus on just certificate alone. Don't say, I just need the certificate. Get relevant training as regards to your field. Get trained, get skilled, train, and then be certified if it will be, if need be. Get certification. Let it be that gives your CV a lead. Even for experienced guys, I know some of us have different certifications. If you are here, you have up to 10 years experience, I want to be, you must have different certifications, not less than 7 different certifications in different areas. So it is very, very vital. Different certifications. Some can be free. You might take a free Udemy course, and they gave it, and that comes with a certificate. You put is part of your portfolio. You took a training, and that there you different both managerial trainings and technical IT training. Blend yourself. Don't be one who is only in the area of management or in the area of medicine. You don't have a technical skill or tech skill that can blend with what you have. No, let there be a balance. Let there be a blend. So certifications and training is optional. So you list relevant certifications or workshops or trainings, seminars you have attended, relevant ones that relates to the job. You can list them. You put them there under certification. Now let me say this. Well, when we get into CV writing proper, we will see how those stuffs are structured. All right. Now, having established that, the next we will be looking at is languages. These are stuff. If you can speak more than 2 languages, what that means is that your native language, I'm Igbo. If I can speak more than Igbo and English, maybe I can speak Yoruba, or I can speak Hausa, I can speak French, I can speak Spanish, I can speak German, I can speak Chinese, any of them. If you can speak more than 2 languages, which is your native language and English, which is our lingua franca, then you go ahead and put it under the section called languages. You put the language you can put. If you can speak French, but you are not too fluent in French, you can say basic. You can say fair in French language. But you know you can speak French, but you are not that fluent. You can say fair in French, fair in Spanish, fair in German, as the case may be, fair in Yoruba, fair in Igbo. If you can speak but not really fluent, you can go ahead to also add it as well. Then the next is publications or projects. You have executed project that is, you have executed some projects, you have done some publications, which you have. If you have, these are optional. If you don't have, there is no cause for alarm. But if you have, it's an added advantage to you. So if you have done any publication, any project, you go ahead and put it. Then if you have been in any leadership position in the company, you have led a team, you have in your denominations, religious body, in school, your department, faculty, if you have been in any of the leadership positions, recognized leadership positions, please, you go ahead and put it. In whether in service, during service year, you led a CDS group, or you are the call liaison officer of a particular local government, stuff like that, go ahead. Is part of the leadership experience. You have had leadership experience. That's what we are talking about. Then after that, if you're a member of any professional body, ICANN, HR professions, or your career, or maybe you're a medical doctor and you're a member of doctors associations, or you are a computer scientist and you're a member of Computer Professionals of Nigeria, any recognized association, recognized membership, recognized, not the club you formed by yourselves, not that kind of club you and friends gather and you form club, O2OB club association. No, that's not what we are referring to. Any recognized member association, professional associations that you are a member, you go ahead and put it. Like like Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, ICANN Engineering, ICANN Engineering, computer professionals, and stuff like that. If you are a member in any of these, you any of the professional body, HRM professionals, project manager, you are a member of PMI, you are a member of Prince, any of these, you put it there. Then awards, if you have received any recognized award, maybe while working, you receive the best staff of the month, you receive the best staff of the year, or while you are serving, you will receive the award, or in any recognized institution, you are being given award for meritorious service, for this, stuff like that, go ahead and put it there. That's your point. I need to stress this, your hobby/interest. Most of us take this place for granted. We don't even pay much attention to this. We just kukuma put any hobby that any hobbies or interests that we think will just come to our mind, we just put it. No, look for hobbies. Look for hobbies that is also in relationship with the job. The hobbies that will serve you well in the job. Imagine you applying as a marketing executive. What do you think when you put a hobby like traveling? You know that traveling will sell you well, because as a marketer you will be doing some series, you will be doing diverse traveling. Meeting people, as a marketer you intend to meet people. So choose hobbies that is help me confirm. It seems my network is lagging. Can someone help me confirm? It seems my network is lagging. Can someone help me confirm? If you can hear me, if you can see my screen, I'm getting a bit of network lagging. Can someone help me confirm? We might have to do a part 2. Okay, beautiful. Someone said the network is back now. Is back? Okay, all right. Thank you. Now, when we craft a CV that is ATS friendly, to craft a CV that is ATS friendly, we need to use relevant keywords. That's why you cannot write one CV and send it out to different jobs. Different job has their different requirements. That's why it's not possible, it's not allowed, it's not recommended. Don't just go and write one CV and start sharing it to different companies. That CV cannot solve problems of different companies. It cannot apply to different organizations. No, study their work, study their job description, research about what they do, and then understand keywords in their job description and use it. Please don't, if you still go ahead, if some persons don't have the aim, don't have the determination, the hard work, the energy to go ahead and put in the hard work. They just prepare one CV and then start sending it out. Send it to this uncle, send it to this particular uncle. The person says, you should ask the person, what kind of job are you looking at for me? So that I can prepare the CV in line with that job. The person can tell you, okay, let's see, in the banking industry, I'm looking at to put it to this company and this and that. Then to send it to this my friend or this, or that I saw this company recruiting, my friend told me about this company. Then you can prepare that CV. Yes, is someone that says, just send me your CV. Don't bother about anything. Just send me your CV. I will take care of it from here. That one is fine. If you have someone like that, just forward your CV and tell me the things you can do. If you have someone like that, fine, that'd be beautiful. But if you don't have, please edit CVs as regards to different positions. The next is stick to standard CV format. What are standard CV formats? Please maintain font size. We're still going to go to that. Stick to standard CV formats. Now, the major CV format, most of us go around in designing our CV. You put picture, you put different graphics, logo, So one of the CVs I will be using in the practical section, maybe next week when we go for part 2 of this section, maybe next week or thereabout. A CV, I see some logos, I see some icons rather in the CV. No, it makes it difficult for the ATS to read. Graphics, the graphics, you put text box, different designs, you put text box here, design text box here, put color here, put this. Those are irrelevant. Standard professional format is black and white. Then your headings, the header of each section cannot be a color that blends. Most times what I use mostly is red or blue. In the heading, the name, maybe the name professional summary, I use red. Academic qualification, I use red. Consistently, maintain consistency. Not that your name is blue, your real name, your full name is blue. Then under professional summary, you use red. Under academic qualification, you now use green. And no, maintain. If you are using red for the header, for the heading of each section, you maintain red. Then other ones black. And then maintain a standard CV format, not putting different box. You put box here for contact, you put box here for profile, you put box here. Different boxes, text boxes makes it difficult for ATS to read. I'm giving us tips now, I'm giving us powerful tips. It's for every aspect of CV. Any aspect of CV you are writing is very, very, very important. Then choose simple font. Don't go and be choosing ambiguous font. Those font that is, all those font that one leg will bend. Choose simple font. And in CV writing, I recommend 3 fonts: Arial, Calibri, and Times New Roman. My main fonts I use every now and then, and I recommend all my students to use is Times New Roman. So choose simple font that is easily readable. It makes it easy for the ATS to read. Now, most of us, if you have used ChatGPT, if you have used some of these AI softwares, you see that the words they use to write for you is simple font. They don't go and bring font that simple font you can easily read. So the same way the ATS, the AI is telling you the kind of font they understood. So use simple fonts, the Arial or Calibri or Times New Roman. And the one I recommend mostly is Times New Roman. Then use bullet points for clarity. Don't number your CV, please. ATS is difficult. It makes it difficult for ATS to understand. Don't number your CV. Rather, bullet it. Use bullet. And when you are using bullet, maintain consistent bullet. Use the same bullet. Consistency is key. That makes it professional. Not to use this bullet for academic qualification. When it comes to your work experiences, you use another bullet. When it comes to your skills session, you use another bullet. No, use the same bullet, consistent bulleting. Don't use number. Don't number your CV. Rather use bullet. And when you are using bullet, let it be consistent. Like I have said this, avoid the images, icons, graphics, text boxes, shapes, and that. Avoid these things. Avoid them. Your picture is not necessary. Your picture cannot entice the recruiter to call you. Your picture cannot entice ATS. It's not. In fact, it makes it difficult for the ATS to understand that CV. Please avoid images, icon, different graphics. Very, very important. Then include full titles and abbreviation. What that means is this. For example, if I'm writing and I say human resources management, I can put in bracket HRM, so that if the ATS is being coded with HRM, the ATS will pick that. If the ATS is being coded with human resources management, the ATS will pick that. So those professions, those stuff that has abbreviation, recognized abbreviations, you can put both name and abbreviation, like health, safety, and environment. Then in bracket you can put their HSE. So that we include that. Highly recommended. Highly recommended. Use clear and linear layout. What do I mean by clear and linear layout? I will be showing us this when we get into practical. But what we mean by clear and linear layout is you maintain box by the side. You put text box by the side. This is for contact. Another box by the side. This is for my skill. Another box in the middle. Another box in the middle is my profile. It's not linear. Maintain a straight format. A straight format. After your title, you move down. Professional summary. You move down. Work experience or your academic qualification. You move down. You move down. That's linear layout. Very clear. You put them in section by section. Very clear. Maintain linear layout. Very, very important as well. Don't go and begin to use text boxes. Some of us use different CV templates. That makes it very difficult for the ATS. All right. Finally, save it as a PDF. Save it as PDF unless stated otherwise. State it as PDF unless stated otherwise. Please, we will be ending here. I'm having low battery. We will be ending here. Next week, I will have to do a part 2 for this section. Next week, I will be doing a part 2 for this section. So we will be ending here. ATS is applicant tracking system. Like we can see, my system, I have low battery now. Very soon it will be off. So next week we are going to have a part 2. We are going to be having a part 2 next weekend, next week Saturday as well. We are going to be having a part 2. So
today we'll be handling interview communication. And I must say that this, one of the things that we must understand is that, which I have always been saying, is not the best qualified, is not the most qualified, is not the best that lands the job, is the one that acts the most. The best actors are the ones that gets the job, not really the most qualified. Persons that are qualified might not get the job. Why? Because they lack the understanding of interview communication. Whether you like it or not, the ability for you to pass any interview. When I say interview, I'm not really focusing on job interview. However, job interviews are the mostly interviews job seekers will go for, whether it's for a grant interview, whether it's for a scholarship interview, whether it's for academic interview. The communication aspect in that interview is very, very vital. The communication aspect is very vital. It's not just what we say, but how we say it. Please, I need to see our comment. Let me know if you can hear me clearly, if I'm audible enough. Drop it in the chat box. Drop it in the chat box if I'm audible enough. However, today we are going to be learning, discovering diverse aspects of communication. We are going to be starting by understanding what communication is, what communication is all about. At the same time, we are going to be going through interview communications, and that is where I'm going to be diving deep into explaining what this interview communication is all about. And if time permits us today, we'll be looking at diverse interview tests. Please let me know if you can hear me. If you can't see my screen, kindly let me know. so that I can proceed. Drop your comment in the chat box. Let me know in the chat box if you can hear me, if I'm audible enough. Kindly do that so that we'll proceed. Kindly do that so that we proceed. Drop in the chat box if I'm audible enough. Let me know. All right, beautiful. You can hear me very well. All right, let's delve into what we have. Now, we are going to be starting this section with overview of communication. We need to have an understanding, a background understanding of what communication is. We need to get to understand communication so as to be able to now, we are starting this series today, take it further, and after that move further into interview questions and the likes. We are going to be having this series so well that we continue, that everyone being part of this section, by the end by the time we are done, you will definitely land the job you go for. You said that communication is a process of exchanging information. We must understand the process of exchanging information. We must understand that information. So when we talk about overview of communication, we say it's a process of exchanging information. In other words, information is a communication is not complete when the next person have not fully understood your thoughts, fully understood your ideas, fully understood your feelings. So effective communication is you being able to ensure that the person understood exactly your thoughts, exactly your ideas, exactly your feelings, so as to ensure that communication is effective. And that is why when you look at communication, most times some person will tell you something and ask you, what did I tell you? The person is doing that in order to confirm that you truly understood what he or she says. And if you understand communication and the process of communication, passing interviews become easy, because what we are doing in interviews is communication. We are communicating our thoughts, we are communicating our skills, we are communicating that we are the best. In fact, I want to re-emphasize it now, that is the best actor. In other words, the best actor that gets the job. Not really the most qualified, not really the best candidate, rather the best actor. Note that before you are called for an interview, the organization must have concluded, must have agreed, and thereabout that you have what it takes to succeed in the job. So the fact that whether you have the required stuff for that job has been ascertained through your CV and through your cover letter. And now you are coming to show us, you are coming to perform, you are coming to act, to convince us that you are the best candidate for the job. So how you communicate, how you exchange your thoughts, how you exchange your values is very vital. So effective communication involves various elements. It involves various elements as regards to job interviews. However, we can't talk about interview communication without having a background understanding of what communication is. Now, having gotten this overview, let's proceed to what we have as elements of communication. Whenever you are communicating, you need to bear these things in mind, that these things are part of communication. And that is where most of us fail to understand, most of us fail in our communication. The first is the sender. Who is sending the information? You as And in you as an interviewee, when you are saying your thoughts, you are the sender. When the interviewer is saying his own thoughts, he or she is the sender. So one of the things you need to understand under the elements of communication is first the sender. Who is the person sending the information? How is the information being sent by him or her? That's the first thing, the sender. Then the next is message. The information you are sending is one of the elements of communication. I won't dwell much on this aspect. The message, that's what the major essence of this section this evening is all about. How you communicate your message effectively to the interviewers so that you will be seen as the best. You will be seen to be the best among them. In other words, you are just the best actor. You might not be the person that have the best communicate. What medium are you using? In interview, which medium are they using for the interview? Is it a phone interview section? Some of us might have not been through phone interview section where they don't see you, you don't see them, it's just interview over there. We think that is you get feedback, and with this you are going to be making a lasting impression on the interviewer. Let me give you an example. Let's say you guys are 100, 400, 500, 1000 as the case may be, went for an interview. And after the interview section, let me tell you this from my experience. There are few persons, and on few occasions I have seen someone ask me genuinely, what do you think is my performance in this interview? Just share with me what you feel is my performance. Which area do you feel that I can adjust and that? When you ask this question, you are making an impression on the interviewer that you are one that will be easy to correct. There are some persons that when you correct them, they take it so difficult with them, they take it bad and that. And recruiters, employers want someone who is open to correction, who is open to ideas, who is open to criticism. Please, can you criticize my performance in this interview section? Tell me where that I will need to improve and where I need to improve, and the things I did well, the things I need to improve on. You get feedback. That is where your feedback mechanism, that's where your feedback session starts. Most of us, we have been taught that after the interview, you now won't wait for 2 days, 3 days, as the case may be, and you put a call through to ask about that. That is part of the feedback session. But most of us have not been taught that you start your feedback from the interview room. Whether it's virtual, whether it's phone, whether it's physical, your feedback, you start it from that interview section. Wow, this is I really appreciate being part of this interview. I really appreciate being invited for this interview session. I must say that my expectation is highly exceeded. This is so, the questions are so immense and so powerful. If permit me, please permit me to ask for your reviews, for your criticism, for your addition based on my performance. Where did I do well? Where do you think I need to improve on? Don't say where did you think I don't do well. I will get to that aspect in communication and interview where you don't begin to bring in negative stuff. Instead of I didn't do well, you come to bring up where do you think I need to improve. So feedback is very, very important. Then the context. Understand that bring your communication in line with the context. Don't communicate outside the context. Don't share examples that are outside the context. These are elements of effective communication. These are elements of effective communication. And in job interviews, context is very key. Communicate within the context. Don't go outside the context. You will be seen as someone who is saying irrelevant stuff, and you will see the interviewers cut you short. cut you off and say, don't worry, let's move on. Don't communicate outside the context. Please. Then the last one under elements of communication is noise. That is noise. Please ditch noise. Noise can be anything. Noise in active communication. Is it the tone of your voice? Is it your makeups? Is it your appearance? Is it your sitting arrangement of whatsoever that will hinder communication? Effective communication is noise. Noise in communication mostly not doesn't mean sound that sound, too many sounding within the place. No, whatsoever that can impede the message getting to the receiver effectively, that becomes noise. So having established these elements of communication, we move to the next one, which we call types of communication, which is where I'm going to focus majorly on verbal. And for example, you start communicating from your CV. So under the written, you start your communication from your CV. That is why your CV is the first that pass interview. So CV is the first stop that pass interview. When you prepare your CV, how do you communicate? How do you communicate your skills? How do you communicate your experiences? How do you communicate your professional summary? So in your CV is the first place, the first document to pass interview. Once your CV pass that interview, then the next interview is you being invited for a meeting. So in verbal communication, both written and oral communication plays a vital role. It plays a vital role in our interview communication. I will be where I will be dealing with in as we progress in this section. Verbal communication. Now under that, the oral communication. Verbal communication. Now under that, the oral communication. What you say is as important as how you say it. Excuse me. What you say is as important as how you say it. Now, when you are saying something and how you are saying it doesn't correlate with what you are saying. For example, you are telling us that you are effective, but the way you are making, the way you are talking about being effective does not show that you are truly effective. So when you communicate orally, every of you should come into that communication. Every of you should bring all of you, the best of you, into that communication. Don't say I'm active in this area, and why you are the way you are saying it doesn't show it. So I will encourage us to build on our oral communication. The next one is written. I have read a CV. Is it a CV or cover letter? Why person is quoting a figure he helped the company to generate? He is quoting a figure. I think he says, I've forgotten the cover letter. The person says he has helped the company to generate over 10,000, over 10K, over 10K leads, over 10K leads. No, avoid those fillers, avoid those non-professional communication stuffs. You don't say over 10K leads. No, over 10,000. You put it, if you are writing it in words, you write it in words, over 10,000. If you are writing it in figure, you write it in figure, not over 10K. So in your written communication, it should be very, very important that we master that, which is where we are headed. Then we have non-verbal communication. Now, the non-verbal communication is where most job seekers fail. The way you sit, the way you look, the way you move your hands, those are non-verbal communication. The tone of your voice, your facial expression, what you do when you walk into the interview, those verbal expressions, what vibes did you send as you enter the interview room? And let me say this, ladies and gentlemen, that the interviewer, research have shown it that you have not less than 30 seconds to make a first positive impression on the interviewer. I repeat, you have not less than 30 seconds to make the first positive impression or the first negative impression, whatsoever. I don't like saying negative things. That's why I focus on positive. You have first 30 seconds to make your first positive impression on the interviewer. And that first 30 seconds comes from your non-verbal communications. It doesn't come from the way what you are greeting, the way you greet them. It doesn't come from what you say, it comes from the way you say it. So in interview, your non-verbal communication is so vital. Your body language, the tone of your voice, what you are, the way you are saying it, they are very, very vital. That is where amateurs fail in interviews. When they come, they begin to feel nervous, they begin to feel jittery. It's right, it's good to feel nervous, but you need to convert that feeling into a positive atmosphere. Walk into the interview, assume confidence. And that comes as a result of your non-verbal communication. Let me tell you, if you are confident non-verbally, then your verbal communication will be effective. I repeat, if you are confident non-verbally, your verbal communication will be effective. But if you are not confident non-verbally, it will also show in your verbal communication. That's why the first thing you do is to be confident. Then we have talked about visual communication. And this is where I will bring our attention to. When we say visual communication, is in the general communication lecture, you might tag it to be all these videos, pictures, and what have you. But in interview communication, visual communication is creating a certain image, consciously creating a certain image of you in the mind of the interviewer. In the job interview communication, in the interview process, the visual communication here is you consciously creating an image that will keep on playing in the mind of the recruiter. So for you to achieve this in interviews, a lot of things will come into play. A lot of things will have to come into play. So in interview, one of the things every job seeker must endeavor to do is to create a positive, effective, productive image in the mind of the interviewer. Let the interviewer know that, create the image in the mind of the interviewer that you are the best. Create that picture in his mind that you have what it takes to succeed on the job. Create that impression. Create that image and let it continually play. So it's a conscious effort. It's a conscious effort as we progress in interviews. Then the next is communication styles. This is the style of communication to which we understand different personalities. And the way you communicate can send a negative vibe to the interviewer that this person might be this or that. Your style of communication. And that is one of the areas every job seeker should also pay attention to. What style of communication are you using? Now, let's proceed. The first style of communication to talk of is aggressive. Excuse me. The first style of communication to talk of is being aggressive. Sometimes, not sometimes, aggressive style of communication doesn't work. It's not effective. In fact, you as an individual will not want to work under someone that is aggressive. Aggressive personalities are seen like a bully. Some persons that are that just want to communicate that you are not good and the best. However, how does an interviewer view you as an aggressive person? That this person seems to be aggressive. Now, when you don't really pay attention to the interviewer and you are saying things on a fast pace. Maybe the interviewer is asking a question, he or she is not done yet. He or she is not really done yet. You just let him know, well, I understood what you are trying to say. This is this, this is that. No, when you do that, you are sending a message that this person might be an aggressive type of person. Don't cut an interviewer short. Don't tell the interviewer, well, I understand what you are trying to say, or I understand the area you are going. However, this is this. No, allow the interviewer to finish. In fact, one of the things I teach job seekers, my audience, is that at every question you are being asked, don't rush to answer it. Rushing to answer questions in interview is communicating mostly to the interviewer that you might be the aggressive type. When they ask you a question, you have not paused it a second or two. You rush immediately to answer. Every question you are asked, you rush to answer it. Every question you are asked, you rush to answer it. You are communicating that you are an aggressive type of person. And any recruiter who understands aggressive communication will not want to work with an aggressive person. And that is where you might be the best, you might have the required skill, but you didn't get the job. Because it might be that the way you communicate in an aggressive way. So don't communicate aggressively. Don't communicate aggressively. So aggressive style of communication doesn't work in interview. This is not a communication class. I would have dwelled so much in teaching styles of communication. Maybe one of these days we might have to do a full section on communication. However, this session is focusing on interview communication, how to effectively communicate during an interview, in any interview. And one thing you need to ensure you don't do is that you don't communicate aggressively. Don't rush to answer questions. Don't cut the interviewer short thinking that you are trying to save him or her time. Allow the interviewer to finish his or her question, and then you can move in and answer the question. Then the next is passive. Don't ever allow the interviewer to see you as a passive communicator. Don't ever allow the interviewer to see you as a passive communicator. And before I proceed, please, if you have any question, feel free to drop it in the chat box. If you have any question as regards to this section, how to communicate effectively in interview, kindly drop the question in the chat box. I will be glad to attend to them. I will be excited to attend to your questions in the later aspect of this section today. So feel free, drop your question as regards to what we are having today. Any question as regards to that, drop it in the chat box. I will be glad to deal with it. Okay, the second style of communication is passive communication. Passive communication is I consider it to be more deadly than aggressive. When you communicate in a timid way, being timid, you are seeing yourself as not being effective, you are seeing yourself as not being worthy, you see yourself as not being the best, and that communication, passive communication, where you when you are answering questions, you will be looking up and then you will be looking down, and then be scratching your laps, and then doing that, you are showing a passive person. You are showing that you are a passive person. And one thing a passive person does is that the passive person lacks confidence. And interviewers doesn't want to work with person who lacks self-confidence. Interviewers doesn't want to work with such individual, person who lacks self-confidence. So when you go in an interview, don't communicate passively. And one of the things you say that shows you are a passive communicator is that maybe you come and you say, I will try. I just feel like the word just is a minimizer. In communication, we call the word just a minimizer. When the whatever word that comes after just, it just minimizes the potential, the intensity of that word. That is why business persons will tell you that it's just 100 million, it's just 10 million, to make that 10 million look like it's not a big deal. A sales professional will tell you it's just a 10,000 bucks. It's just 5,000 pounds. Just that. So that's the word just. In interview, don't use just to relate to your achievement. In my last job, I just worked. I know you are. I will try to just be this. No, the word I will try. The word just is a minimizer. Know how to use the word just. Don't sound passive. Don't sound passive. One of the ways you sound passive is to return an answer that you say no idea. That's a very wrong communication aspect in interview. I have seen people respond that to me. I got so angry. In job interview sessions, I have seen candidates respond that you ask them question, they just say no ideas. That is so demeaning. That is so annoying. So never you go and an interview, you are asked and you say no idea. You are being passive. You are being very, very passive. Okay. Another style of communication is passive aggressive. That I don't think somebody can do that in an interview. Or trying passive aggressive when you are trying to be good at the same time being aggressive. I don't think someone will do that in job interview. I don't want to believe that someone will use passive aggressive style of communication, which I will not be dwelling so much in today. One style of communication I want to ask you to use, I will always ask you to use to communicate, whether in interviews. In fact, I will want you to start today to communicating in that manner, so that when you go for an interview, it becomes part of you. Not that you are trying to act, not that you are trying to show what you are not. Is what we call being assertive. Assertive style of communication. Now, the assertive style of communication is a communication that we say how, in a nutshell, we say that assertive style of communication in a nutshell is say what you mean what you say, and don't be mean when you say it. I repeat, say what you mean what you say, and don't be mean when you say it. And assertive style of communications are persons who knows their worth, of persons who have the confidence in their self, who have self-belief, who doesn't have low self-esteem. Those who comes in and they are cheerful, they communicate confidently. They know when to call it quit. They know when you are insulting them and tell you pop and claim that that's an insult. They know when to act. They know when not to act assertively. Those who can speak up, those who can confidently speak up for themselves, those who can confidently, articulately speak their minds, and that is being assertive. And but while you are being assertive, please, don't move from being assertive to being arrogant. I repeat, don't move from being assertive to being arrogant. There is a thin line between being assertive and being arrogant. And when you move away from being assertive to being arrogant, you are moving back to being aggressive. Aggressive persons are seen to be arrogant persons. So one of the style of communication to use in any interview. In fact, we want you to go and study assertive style of communication. One style you have to use in any job interview is the assertive style of communication. Now, having established that, let's now move to the next one, which we have as interview communication. Interview communication. Interview communication. Now, for you to communicate effectively in any interview, one of the things you must do is to research about the company. Yes, you heard me. One of the things you must do is to research about the company. You cannot effectively communicate and win the heart of the interviewer if you don't really know anything about their company. I want to emphatically state this. You can hardly impress any interviewer, any recruiter, any employer if you don't really know anything about that company. So, in order for you to communicate effectively, one of the things you must do is to research about the company. What does the company do? What's their product? What service do they render? What industry does the company belong to? What is the company core value? What is the company culture? What is the company core ideology? What are their core ideology? What are their culture? What product? What service do they render? How can I make better? How can I contribute? Which area do I feel that needs improvement? Which area can I contribute? How can I be of asset, of importance to this company? And that is why before company launch out product, they go and do what they call market research. What we call market research. Why are they doing market research? Is to know what the customers want and how to serve the customers with the things that they call that will impress the customers. That is why they do market research. So if you are going for an interview and you don't really know the company, what are you going to communicate? How are you going to communicate that you are the best if you don't know their product, if you don't know their services, you don't know their ideology, you don't know their culture, you don't know what they do? How are you going to communicate? So when the first thing you do in interview communication is to research about the company. This is where we begin to talk about the acting. This is where we begin to talk about the acting. Those of us that have stayed up to this time, we are going to, this is where the actors begins to show themselves. In fact, take a picture of most of the actors you like today. Why do you like them? Most of actors, I mean in the entertainment industry, you like today, they are not the only persons that appear in that movie you watch, but you like them because of the way they make you feel. And you term them to be the best. I can guarantee you, I can confidently say that in job interview sections you might have been, it is difficult. I will confidently can say that it's kind of you might have not had somebody talked about this. This is one of the places we the HR fight ourselves not to go into. We fight ourselves not to get emotional with the interviewers, with the interviewees, with the candidate. Emotional not mean that have any no. Emotional not having an emotional attachment, having not to come to have an emotional likeness towards that candidate. But no matter how it seems, 60-70% of the interview decision, 60-70% of the interview decision made after any job interview, 60-70% of them is made based on emotion. It's made based on how you make the recruiter feel. You make the recruiter feel that you are lovable. You make the recruiter feel you are approachable. You make the recruiter feel you are needed. You are valuable. That you make him feel it. You make him see it in you. So one of the ways you do in interview communication for you to master is mastering the art of emotional entry. Let's say, for example, you want to get a lady, you want to get you a guy, you want to get a lady, or a lady, you want to get the attention of a guy. It's emotional entry. And the greatest thing you need to understand is that once emotions are high, reasoning becomes low, logic becomes low. Go and find out what I'm talking about today now. Once emotions are high, whether the positive emotion, the emotion of lightness, love, and stuff like that, or the emotion of hate, anger, and that, once any of these aspects of emotion are high, logic, reasoning becomes low. That is why persons will tell you, don't make any decision when you are angry. And sometimes certain things you do when you are in love, or when you are infatuated, and that is based on that as concept, is based on emotion, not really based on reasoning. And hence, when you are able to enter into the emotion, when you are able to enter into the emotion of the interviewer, then you have created a lasting impression that after that interview, the interviewer will just want to bring you in, we just want to give you the job. And how do you do that? This is where we are going to look at the actors. How do you do that? First of all, from the time you walk into the interview room. I'm talking about if it's a physical interview. By the next week's section, we are going to be looking at different interview formats, how you communicate along different interview formats, the phone, the virtual interview, launch interview, and stuff like that. We are going to be looking at that in next week's section, how you communicate over different interview formats. However, this one, when you walk into the interview room, emotional entry begins. And one of the things I always say is to walk into the interview room with a smiling face. Don't walk into the interview room with a face so hard, or a strong face, or face that is no. Don't walk into the interview room with an expressionless face. No. Walk into the interview room with an exciting, smiling atmosphere, vibes. Walk into the interview room, be excited, walking excitedly with a smile, and I guarantee you, I give you this as a guarantee, that is the starting point of emotional entry. That's the starting point of emotional entry. And when we are talking about smile, not just laugh. We are not talking about laughing. We are talking about smiling, and make it as real as possible. Let it be you smiling. Excuse me. And when you get there and they extend a handshake, when you get there, they extend a handshake. Give a firm handshake with a smile. And not just a smile, look for something genuinely to compliment the interviewer. Look for something to compliment the interviewer genuinely. And let it be something positive. Something positive as relates to the job and stuff like that. Note this: when you compliment someone, the person becomes his guards. The person mostly lose his guards. For example, wow, I love this your tie, sir. Good morning, sir. I love your tie. It's something very, very shiny. It matches your outfit. Oh, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm so excited to be here. The progress of this organization in the industry is something that is so amazing, and I'm so excited to be part of this interview. You compliment. I guarantee you that if there are 100 persons, you might be 1, 2, or 3 persons that compliments the company, that compliments the interviewer, that give that as a compliment. And that is an emotional entry. Imagine someone, who will you favor? Somebody that comes and compliment you, and later you see that person another place, immediately you will want to favor that person. Compliment works is one of the act of emotional entry which most job seekers don't use. I have been in interview and I see people, once they finish, they say thank you, sir, thank you very much, and they walk away. When they finish, they say thank you, they ask a question and they walk away. They did not compliment the interviewer. They did not leave a positive impression on the mind of the interviewer before leaving. They will just say thank you very much, sir, I'm happy to be here, I'm happy for this opportunity, and they leave. Why not before you leave, you say thank you very much, sir, this interview is so much exciting. It's an eye-opener on various aspects of things I need to look into seriously in my life. I must appreciate you, sir. Sincerely, I must appreciate you. This interview is super. Compliment the interviewer genuinely. Pick one or two questions they ask you that you appreciate, you like the way the question comes, and that pick one or two questions, pick the way they are friendly. You can, if they are friendly, they relax, you might just, well, I really appreciate the way you guys are friendly. It makes me to relax, it makes me to feel at ease. I was thinking I'm going to meet one people that are so uptight and that, but I will say that this interview is very awesome, you very friendly. Compliment that person. Let them know you took notice of the way they treat you. You might be the only person, you might be 2 or 3 persons that took notice the way they are friendly, the way they notice. And you are now sending them message that you are one that pays attention to details. I'm teaching you something that you might not be able to get elsewhere. Why? Because I have been in interviews and have been where decisions are made after interviews, and I know certain areas that decisions anchor. Most persons will tell me during the decision making, this person is good, but he might be difficult to work with. This person is good, he gets it, but his attitude towards answering the questions, the way he answers the question, he seems someone that will be stubborn, someone that will be uptight. But you now see that those that they will be compliment, this person seems approachable, smiling, seems someone that can accept corrections, and that why? Because that particular person makes us feel that way. He might not be a person that easily accepts correction, but he makes us to feel that way. This is an act of emotional entry. That is an act of emotional entry. Don't just leave the interview room saying thank you, sir, and off you go. No, drop a positive remark. This is what some persons might have not taught you, but I'm teaching you now. Drop a positive remark. Don't leave the interview, and when you enter, start with a positive remark. There is a saying, they say Jesus started with prayer and end with prayer. I'm saying this now, start with a positive remark and end with a positive remark. That is an act of emotional entry. You might not be the best, but the way you make us feel will make you the best actor and you get the job. This person has what it takes, but I feel this person has a learning attitude. He's someone that can learn. Why? Why did they say so? Because you make them feel so. When you ask them, when you ask if there is an area where they think where they think you did very well and the area they think you can improve on, you are sending a message that this person is someone that will be open to learning. And everybody wants someone that is open to learning. Every employer of labor, 99% of employers of labor wants one who is open to learning, wants one who is teachable, wants one who is cheerful, wants one who can be approachable. And it all comes by the way you communicate. It's not by what you can do. This time around is not by what you can do. There are 10 persons that can do the same thing you can do that we have seen. at the end of the day, we pick 2 out of those 10 persons that can do that. What criteria did we use? Is the criteria of emotional entry. How that 2 makes us feel. And it's all about their performance, how they act. Both of them answers the question effectively. They answered very good. But the last 2, the 2 that are selected, the 3 that are selected, the one that is selected did something extra. And what did the person do? The person was able to penetrate the emotion of the interviewer. If this is the only thing I've been able to teach you today, and you get it, and you learn it and master it effectively, I will be very happy. Now, how do you go about the emotional entry? First of all, I have said working with excitement and then with a smile, maintain a positive handshake while maintaining an eye contact. While you are shaking the interviewer, don't look away. Maintain an eye contact with a smile, and that shows you are confident. That shows how assertive you are, and that shows how friendly you are. Imagine someone greeting you and the person is shaking you and the person is looking away. You will feel that the person is not interested in the conversation. He's not interested in the interaction. He's not really a confident person. So you maintain an eye contact with the interviewer with a firm handshake, not a very strong grip, a firm handshake with the interviewer. Smile and then compliment. Either you compliment the growth of the company in the industry, you compliment the product the organization launched, you compliment their service, or after that, then you compliment those in the interview, maybe the settings, the interview settings, or the conduciveness of the place. Wow, I really thank you so much. This place is highly, very, very conducive. Or you compliment the person's outlook. That makes the person to feel at ease. It's about entry. It's about entry. So you need to understand that. But however, don't go and make it look too mechanical. Don't make it that you have already rehearsed this and you enter there. What you are saying is not in context. That is why I always recommend, when you are to compliment, look for the company product, look for the company service, look for the new product they are launching, what they are doing in the industry, and compliment about it. Instead of trying to, maybe you say you will talk about the person's tie, and you go there, the tie, you are saying something that doesn't. No. Look at the person. If there is something you compliment about the person. Wow, I really appreciate the way you give me a warmth welcome. Thank you so much, sir. You compliment about the person's attitude towards you, and then at the end, you also compliment about the interview. Drop a compliment. That's on that. Then the next aspect of emotional entry is to pay attention, maintain active listening. Now I will give us an example. If they ask you a question, for example, if they ask you a question and that question is an open-ended question, it is you are letting us, you are communicating right when you ask us later, well, sir, if I got you right, what you mean is if I'm able to do this, if I'm able to do that. If the person says something that is not really clear, don't jump to answering the question. Don't jump to answering the question. You now get the person to ask the person the question, or the interviewer the question. If I get you correctly, sir, you mean this or that. Now the person will tell you yes or no, this is what I meant. Why is that very important? is that you are communicating, you are creating an impression to us that you are one that ensures he understood what he's going into before he venture into it. So ensure you get clarity from the question being asked, but don't overdo it. This is also an act of emotional entry. Now, let me give you one of my tips I give to my audience, to my students when I teach them stuff like this is, like I said, never you say no idea in job interview or I don't know. Never you say maybe I don't know, sir, or no idea, sir. No. Instead of that, one of the strategy I'm going to teach you now is what we can refer to is to buy yourself time. The strategy will know that question. You don't really know that question and they ask that question to you. Now you go ahead to ask